what's up you guys? So I feel like it's been a long time since we actually just sat down and had a chat. I feel like my videos on this channel over the last year have been mostly commentary videos, experiment type videos, and live streams. And whilst I genuinely believe that I've made some of my best ever videos over the last 12 months, such as the plastic pants experiment video, a personal favorite, I was looking at my other social media where I'm posting every day about myself, and it kind of made me realize that the personality aspect that I used to have on this channel kind of died, you know? I feel like I started taking attention away from myself in the attempt to get more views, I suppose, and then none of you guys really know that much about me, because over the last few years, and I know many of you have been here for years and years, and that truly warms my heart, but over the past few years, I've changed. I've changed a lot. I've mellowed out, you know, I've become an adult. You guys have seen me go from the age of 20 to 25. There's always going to be such a huge jump in personality there, and I feel like if you join this channel over the last year or so, you probably don't actually know much about me as a person. So I thought, let's just start again. Let's go back to the very, very basics. Let's remember what this channel originally was. It was me as a person just communicating with you guys. So, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Emma. I am a musician who also makes YouTube videos sometimes. It is not the other way around. I'm 25. I'm originally from Essex. My main loves in life include hamsters, placebo, and Nintendo video games. I have an awful taste in fashion. I have an extremely short temper, and I can pretty much tell you all of the ingredients and facts about any Lush product throughout Lush history. But hey, that's a very brief introduction to someone that has been on this planet for 25 years. I thought, let's go back to basics. Let's go back in time like 5 years and do the oldest tag in the world. I know this is genuinely the first tag video I ever saw on YouTube. Without further ado, here are 50 facts about me, because YouTube is just a cesspool of narcissism. I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Slytherin, and I'm a type 8. And if you're somebody that believes that personalities can definitely fit in little boxes, then that will probably tell you that I don't really like being told what to do. I wrote my first ever full song on guitar when I was 13 years old. It was about how hard my life was, but I later revisited it and I turned it into The Promise, which, bonus fact, I don't like that song anymore, and I wish to distance myself from that song. You can like it, but I don't have to. My favorite video game of all time is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I will admit a lot of that is probably for nostalgic reasons, but I love the Zelda series so much that I actually have 2 Zelda tattoos, but fun fact, I actually don't like either of these tattoos now. If I were to be stuck on a desert island and I was allowed to take only 5 CDs to listen to for the rest of my entire life, they would be Battle for the Sun by Placebo, Forget and Not Slow Down by Reliant K, Get Behind Me Satan by The White Stripes, Pure Heroin by Lorde, and American Idiot by Green Day. Because of course. Can I extend it to 6? Can I extend it to 6? Because the self-titled album by Blink-182 is also, it's definitely up there. Okay, 6. I drive a Volkswagen Golf. I've had it for about 2 years now, but as much as I love it, I'm trying really hard not to get attached to it because the car I had before that was broken into and stolen. I passed my driving test on the 2nd attempt and failed my 1st attempt because I went straight ahead in a left turn only lane, and I feel like that will probably make more sense to British drivers, but that's enough to fail a test apparently, but now I do it all of the time. I suffer with chronic fatigue syndrome, which, if you don't know, is basically an invisible illness that makes you exhausted physically and mentally all of the time. I first got it when I had an allergic reaction when I was 17, but I would say that the symptoms of my chronic fatigue have been getting better with each and every year. They say it's incurable, but I would say that it's definitely being managed now, and I feel like I'm definitely living a better life than I did maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I have a genuine unhealthy obsession with growing my hair. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, I'm so obsessed with this, and they don't actually mean it, but almost every single moment of my day is dedicated to me thinking of how to grow my hair and how great my life will be when my hair is long, when really nothing is gonna change. The sheer irony is that I haven't had my natural hair longer than about here in about 10 years, because apparently I just love to use heat products and dye it too often. I did get it cut shorter the other day, but the good news is, right, I know this is kind of taking away from the 50 facts thing, right, but this layer that has always been like here from my Scene Kid days is finally nearly the same length. By like February next year, I won't have any layers anymore, and I'm so excited! If I were to ever dye my hair a bright, vibrant fashion color ever again, I would do it like this. My favorite genre of music of all time is mid-2000s pop punk, because that is absolutely definitely a genre by itself. Listen to Life of a Salesman by Yellowcard. I've been in one car crash, and I wasn't driving, and it wasn't my car. Wine makes me cry, and then throw up every time. My first introduction to dark humor was on a flight to Disney when I was 8 years old. My parents were looking through the films on the backs of the seats, and they saw an animated film, and they thought, that'll keep her busy while we're on this 8-hour flight. That was South Park the movie. Instead of then banning South Park from the house, my dad saw that I liked it and bought me every single episode from the first 3 seasons on VHS. Good parenting. Dad, I was 8. When I was in college, I was a die-hard believer in something called solipsism. Solipsism, in very, very basic terms, is the belief that the entire universe and everything concerned with it is actually just a figment of your brain's imagination. Your brain is the only thing in the world that exists, and out of sheer boredom, it creates everything. Every planet, every color, every smell, every social construct, everything is just the creation of a bored mind. I was really, really heavily into that. I don't know, I guess I kind of grew out of it when I realized that obviously if that was true, I was just self-sabotaging all the time, so now I choose to push the blame for all things that go wrong on other people, because it's easier. Also, when I was in college, I studied politics, and I had legitimate dreams of going to the London School of Economics, studying economics with politics, and becoming the leader of the Labour Party and also the Prime Minister. That dream died along with most of my hopes and dreams when I realized it wasn't just as simple as turning up and getting everything I wanted. For the record, I still think that I do a pretty good job. I then moved on to wanting to go to university to get a PhD in linguistics and becoming a researcher for speech therapy in children. That never happened because I suddenly got a massive bout of separation anxiety, which I've only recently started to get over, and I never went to uni because I was too scared. Don't be like me. Study. Be good. Okay? Good. I still kind of have a dream of owning and running a cafe. Maybe I will. Maybe I will actually do that in my later life. I think it stems from the fact that I used to be a waitress and pretty much ran the place. It's one of those arrogant things of, I can do that, so maybe I'll try it one day. You can all come to my cafe. I am a pretty messy person. If I'm given the choice between putting something back where it came from or just putting it on the floor in front of me, it belongs to the floor now. The first YouTube vlog that I remember watching was the story of how Shane Dawson got fired from his job for pole dancing and filming it. My favorite YouTube videos to watch right now cover the lore of the game Fallout 4. My favorite Disney film is The Incredibles, and it can never be beaten. My first video games console was the Nintendo 64, and ever since getting it in 1997, when I was just a wee 5-year-old puppy, I've owned at least one version of every single Nintendo console that has come out ever since. I'm talking Game Boy Color, Nintendo DS, DSi, DS Lite, the GameCube, the Wii. I even had a Wii U, and now of course I own a Switch. I guess you could say that I've always been just a bit of a Nintendo fangirl, and they can't really do wrong except for in-game transactions, which need to die. Even though it was completely tragic, I absolutely loved going through the scene phase about 10 years. Was it only 10 years ago? I miss being a scene kid, okay? I just do. I'm just gonna say this now. When new scene becomes really, really big, we have a resurgence of scene kid hair, I'm 100% in. I'm allergic to penicillin, or at least I think I am. I saw a doctor recently and he said, you're probably just allergic to the type of penicillin you took, which was amoxicillin. You're probably not allergic to penicillin in general, and you should probably try taking a different type. But who is going to test that? I can't whistle. Just can't do it. I also can't do long division, you know, dropping the numbers and carrying the one. You know what? You can carry the one, and you can shove it up your... I used to get really, really bad hay fever, but I don't now. I don't have any burning desire to be a multi-billionaire. I'm not interested in huge mansions, helipads, nothing like that. Money doesn't mean that to me at all. It just doesn't mean much to me at all. I just want to be able to say that I own a house outright. Like, I want to get a mortgage and I want to pay off the mortgage. That's all I want when it comes to money, success, wealth, fame, whatever. I just want to own a house that I like. But right now I'm still renting and haven't got a mortgage, so just waiting for the next house crash, and then I'm swooping on it. When I was a kid, I thought I had my entire adulthood figured out. I was going to be married at 23, have my first kid at 25, and have my second child at 27. I'm 26 in a couple of weeks, and I don't even have a boyfriend, so that's going well. A couple of weeks ago, I finally went out of my way to start watching the Star Wars movies. I have seen one, episode 4. And I really liked it. Han Solo is just... And yes, I know what happens in future films. I've never seen Lord of the Rings, I've never seen Scott Pilgrim, and I've never played Skyrim. I know, I put them all into one fact so that I'm not extending the shame. My favourite animal is the hamster, particularly the dwarf hamster. And if you have a problem with hamsters, you have a really big problem with me. That said, I don't have any pets because all of my hamsters are dead. The thing is, I would love to have a cat, but I know that I'm not gonna be home much next year. Next year is so busy for me, and I just don't feel like it's responsible for me to have an animal that I only see every couple of days. I am, however, friends with the neighborhood cats. They all come and say hello to me. I just have a gift. I am the cat whisperer. Who knew? Something about me just screams cat lady, I guess. I don't know. I love video game soundtracks, particularly ones from The Sims and from the Zelda series and tons of other Nintendo games, and I actually made a compilation of my favorite music from those games over on my gaming channel. Yeah, I still sometimes have a gaming channel. Not much is going on in there, but there are some good soundtracks. But I do now have a Twitch channel, and I am planning on using it a lot more, so the links will be down below if you want to come and watch me play Life is Strange and cry on stream. I've done it before. I am a massive fangirl of Roy Orbison. In my mind, he had the best voice that has ever existed. I own so many vinyls. Vinyl, the plural is vinyl. And I wish that I'd been alive when he was alive. And he probably should have been in my top 6 Desert Island discs, but I don't know. I've got them all ingrained up here anyway. Sushi is my favorite food. You want to have a successful date with me? Take me to sushi. My other favorite food is those really cheap packets of noodles that you can get from supermarkets that cost like 40p, and I eat too many of them. I have a physical list of people split into 3 columns. Friends that I trust, people I don't trust, and villains. And whilst I don't like the idea of honing in on negativity and harboring it and letting it fester, that list is gonna come in handy one day. I really feel the cold. My extremities are always like ice cubes, to the point where I could be sitting next to my dad, who's wearing just like a t-shirt and shorts, and I'm sitting there in about 3 fleecy layers just like shivering. Kill Bill 1 and 2 are my favorite movies. Cartoon violence and a story of vengeance, my favorite. I just found out from writing this list that I have a real hard time spelling the word vengeance. Too many vowels in that word, if you ask me. As much as I will try and deny it, I'm a really bad cook. I burn everything. Ready meals are my lifesaver. I also have started a book of me cutting out the packets of ready meals and reviewing the food for later reference. That's tragic. I didn't realize how tragic it was until I started saying it, and just, I'm in a spiral. I'm absolutely fine being in my own company. I know that there are some people out there who will just start getting in their own head if they're not talking to someone every few hours, but for me, I could probably go days, maybe even weeks, without actually talking to someone. The first gig I ever went to, was Steps in the year 2000. I was 8 and they were the best pop band on the planet. It was at Wembley Arena and I fell asleep halfway through and my mum had to wake me up and take me home. Rock and roll! The first festival I ever went to was Reading Festival in 2008 and the lineup was Rage Against the Machine, The Killers, Metallica. It is still the best lineup of any festival that I have ever gone to ever, and I definitely did not appreciate it enough when I was 16 years old. My favourite books are Norwegian Wood by Murakami and The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, which I read on the bus back from college every day for about a month to the soundtrack of Hot Fuss by The Killers, and to this day I still associate the book with that Killers album, and I think of the other whenever I'm, association. Hot Fuss should also have been in my top 6. You know what? 6 is just restricting, okay? In March this year, I went to Florida all by myself. It's the first time that I've ever gone on holiday just by myself. It's awesome. Traveling alone is so much fun and it's so just freeing, it's liberating and great, and also I paid $100 to fire 2 different types of gun, and I wanted to wee myself the whole time. I still freak out, cry, and run out of the room whenever I'm playing a Zelda game and there is a ceiling master coming after me. I cannot deal with it. It's a childhood fear. Used to hide when I was 8, still hiding at 25. Particularly in Twilight Princess when you have to steal that soul and then the hand is coming through the walls to get you. That makes me want to pee my pants. I absolutely love watching WWE, old and new. But any chance I get to be involved with WWE, I'm gonna take it. Might be doing something cool with them soon, but it's on the down low. That said, now time to ruin that by saying that my favorite wrestlers of all time are HBK and C. There was this one time when I was 9 years old, I was playing Trivial Pursuit with my parents. I know. And the question that I had to answer was, who is the leader of Iraq? And the only leader of a Middle Eastern country that I knew was Saddam Hussein. And I only knew that because of South Park the movie. So I just said, Saddam Hussein? And to this day, my parents do not believe that I hadn't accidentally cheated and seen the answer beforehand. It was a really, really lucky guess. Okay? Fact number 50, my first ever pet was a cat called Tid. I mean, it wasn't really my cat, my parents owned it before I was born, but the second that I learned to walk, I thought it would be fun to just keep pulling on Tid's tail, and eventually he ran off and never came back. Sorry, Tid. And also, finally, bonus fact, I didn't talk until I was 3 years old. Not a single word. And my parents actually had to take me to the doctors because they thought I was deaf. Turns out I was just taking my time. Because you know what? You can't tell me what to do. And that wraps nicely around to fact number 1. So, I hope you learned some stuff. I hope this was somewhat interesting. I hope you feel like you know me a little bit better. And I think next week I'm gonna do a Q&A. So based on this video, leave your comments down below asking me questions that you wanna know the answers to, and we'll have a chat then. Now I'm gonna go rehearse for a show I'm doing, and as always, I shall catch you later.